Hi, I'm April Samuels, a drummer out of Dallas, Texas, and the founder of Breast Cancer Can Stick It. I've been breast cancer free since 2010. We are here to amplify the metastatic warriors still in the fight. Alongside my co-host, the Goddess of Thunder, bassist extraordinaire, and metastatic warrior Kim Lusk, together we are the rhythm section for Mighty Metastatic.
Before we begin, the information provided is for general educational purposes only and is not intended as medical advice. It does not replace consultant with a qualified healthcare professional. If you have a medical concern, diagnosis, or treatment question, you should consult your physician or another licensed healthcare provider.
Welcome, everybody. I got Shana on the screen right now. Shana is our guest for the evening. We also have the magical and wonderful Goddess of Thunder, Kim Lusk. Kim, let's say hello real quick.
What's up, everybody? Hello. happy Cinco de Mayo and Taco Tuesday.
I know, man. And I didn't have any tacos today. Shana, did you have any tacos today?
We did not.
Get our priorities straight. This is so cool. Yeah, and actually Kim had to remind me that it's Cinco de Mayo. It was really close to the end of the day yesterday before I first said, May the 4th be with you, because I almost forgot to do that too. So I'm really glad I caught it. So real quick, man, everybody talk about their weekend and what they had going on. Kim, what did you do this weekend?
Wow, this weekend was exciting. I participated in a creative paper crafting event called Create 2026. And one of my favorite paper crafters hosts this event every spring. And I ordered this huge box of things to create. And I created nothing because I did not have the energy. I was having a flare weekend where symptoms just flared up and I had no energy. I was severely fatigued. So you know what I did? I watched it. It was great. I just watched. I was in bed one day, in a recliner the next, and back in bed the next day. It was a 3-day event. So I enjoyed that. And then, watched movies and just relaxed and prepared for my upcoming treatment.
Yeah. And for those of you watching right now, if you're new to the show, I do not have metastatic breast cancer. Kim Lusk is our metastatic breast cancer warrior in the house right now. And then Shana is on tonight, and we're going to be talking about being a caregiver for someone going through metastatic breast cancer, because she was definitely a caregiver in that regard. So just to let everybody know that. So this weekend, I think you guys saw, I know Kim, you and I were just talking about it. We had a booth out at the Dallas International Guitar Festival. And man, I did a post about it if you guys didn't see it. It was really cool because one of the things that I used to do before was I was like, hey, if we don't make X amount of dollars at our merch booth, then it's not successful. And it's just, a flop and a waste of time, right? Well, over the years, after doing so many survivor stories and reaching into the community and doing more than just fundraising, I realized that there's a lot more to what we're doing at Breast Cancer Can Stick It than just raising funds. We're actually, making friends and networking, and most importantly, reaching the community and those people who have been affected by breast cancer. I talked to several breast cancer survivors this weekend, very emotional stories. I think I cried with 3 or 4 people while I was there. Spoke with one gentleman who was with his wife till the very end when she had metastatic breast cancer, and he told me some details about her journey and their children, and how he's, just very motivated to stay strong for his kids and everything, and just some really very meaningful and miraculous conversations. So there's a lot more to what we're doing than just raising funds, y'all. And even right now on this show, and you guys watching, this is what it's all about. This is a really important piece to what we do. So Dallas International Guitar Festival was my gig over the weekend. How about you, Shana? What did you do? Anything fun?
I got to have a pretty calm weekend. I had a busy week of kids' activities and extracurriculars, and this weekend I kind of didn't. I binged some shows and caught up on some housework, and it was nice to relax a little.
Nice. That's cool. Yeah, relaxing is great. I didn't get to do that though, but I'm a little jealous.
Try to do some more for you too. I know how busy you are.
Yeah, but it's all good, man. So also again, we're just going to do a quick introduction. My name is April Samuels. I'm the founder of Breast Cancer Can Stick It. I'm 15 years cancer free. I had triple negative breast cancer. And then Goddess of Thunder, do you want to just introduce yourself?
Yep. Yes, I'm Kim Lusk, known as the Goddess of Thunder, bass player extraordinaire, I guess you could say. At least that's what April tells me.
It's true, man. It's true.
Thank you. And have known April since 20. You know what? I found the very first post interaction between us was in 2012.
Was it when you were part of Pin the Bra and the Hottie?
I think. I think
That sounds fun.
Yeah, Shana, you missed it, man.
That was hilarious. You were like, "Hey, do you want to participate in Pin the Bra and the Hottie?" And I'm like, "Who the what a hutta?"
Of course, it was a fundraiser, our early day fundraisers. I think that was in 2012, 2013 timeframe. It was greatness.
But yeah, we've
Sounds
been
like a
friends
good
ever
time.
since. Yeah, and we've been friends ever since. I'm so glad our paths crossed. But I was diagnosed in 2023 with stage 1 triple negative breast cancer. At the end of that year, I rang the bell, was good in 2024, and then the beginning of 2025 went in for a scan, and surprise, it had turned into stage 4 metastatic. It had metastasized or spread to my brain, liver, and bones. And so, yeah, I am living that journey, and I got some good news. April, I'm gonna just go ahead and share it.
Do it. That's greatness.
Declared stable, which means that there is no disease progression. The chemotherapy and everything that we're doing from a treatment perspective has pretty much stopped it in its tracks. And, although I'm incurable, which means there's not a cure for stage 4 metastatic breast cancer, I am treatable. So treatments are basically meant to prolong my life, and I am stable. So I'm so happy to share that. I'm so excited. I shared it with my family earlier today, so wanted to share it here as well. Yeah, that's my story.
I mean, that's really, honestly, that's about the best news you can get as a metastatic breast cancer survivor or any kind of metastatic cancer warrior, because, like you said, metastatic breast cancer is not curable, but it is treatable, and what you're looking to do is to make it stable, which means it's not growing anymore. It's just kind of sitting there, and you're just kind of holding it at bay. And Kim and I were talking off camera just a few minutes ago that a friend of mine reached out wanting to know more information about metastatic breast cancer and to try to get an idea and understand how all that works. And it was a really good conversation. And one of the reasons why we do this show is to kind of spread the word about it and explain how it works. I didn't tell you this, but last week I had a friend reach out and he was like, I've got a friend who's got stage 4 ovarian cancer. How bad is that? And the thing of it is, guys, it all depends on the type of treatment that person gets and if that works for that person. You could have two people that have the exact same type of breast cancer, for example, and they could get the exact same type of treatment. And for one person, it could make their cancer stable. And for the other person, it might not. It's really dependent on the person. So there's no real way to just say, okay, that, they're stage 4, that means they've got 4 months. You just don't know. And so that's why it's so important to have these clinical trials and the research and trials that we do to help people who are going through metastatic breast cancer. So I think I hit on all those points there, Kim. Correct me if I did. I know we talked about a lot earlier.
Yeah, you really did in a good summary fashion. And, all of the medical advances that have happened over the past, 10, 20 years have really led up to, people like me being able to live longer, which is great because 30, 40 years ago, this would not have been a positive outcome.
That's right. Yeah.
So I'm grateful for that. So people ask all the time, have they made any advances? Have there been any changes? And it's like, yeah, there have been. And I'm living proof of that. because I'm still here.
Yep.
Now, like you said, everybody's different, and people assume that chemotherapy is chemotherapy, and it's not. There's many different
Yeah.
forms of chemo, and it really depends. Our oncologists are specialists in that, knowing, okay, what kind of proteins does this respond to? What kind of hormones does this responds to, or doesn't respond to? All the things that go into figuring out what is the best treatment course for not only this form of cancer, but also for this person, because everybody is different. So the course of treatment that I'm on now is not what I started out with early last year. We changed it because, things in your body change and kind of pivot and whatnot. So based on the clinical trials that you mentioned and what's working, my oncologist said, hey, it's in your liver. You need your liver to live, and you can't get a transplant if you've got cancer. So we need to get that under control, and that's what we've managed to do, which is great news. So the stability includes, the liver metastasis, the bone metastasis, the brain, all of the things. So, there's a lot that I have learned. I feel like, man, I should have a PhD, and
Doesn't it kind of like it like makes you want to learn, like the more I learn about metastatic breast cancer, the more I want to know, because it's such a black hole of information, and it's hard to get it out to everybody, and the things that they need to know. We're talking about that you've been metastatic now for, is it
a
over a
year.
year now, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And like Paige Nally, who's been on our broadcast multiple times on the Beat broadcast, she's I think 4 or 5 years metastatic. I also know another woman who's over 20 years metastatic breast cancer. I met a person at the Dallas International Guitar Festival over the weekend who's 15 years with metastatic breast cancer. So it's not a death sentence. I mean, bad things still happen, and not everybody is able to get stable. I lost a friend of mine last year who had ovarian cancer, and she from her first diagnosis, she got like clear after a year, and then it came back metastatic, and she only made it a year after that. But ovarian cancer is also a lot harder to detect early, and I think just a lot harder to treat. And so, she only made it, a year after she was diagnosed with metastatic ovarian cancer. So the work that everybody's doing for the clinical trials and whatnot is just so important. I know that I said, let's make sure that we stick to our 15-minute window of kind of talking about the weekend and explaining what metastatic breast cancer is before we jump into our topic tonight. And our topic tonight is actually caretaking of someone going through metastatic breast cancer, which is why we have Shana on tonight. Shana, girl, you're there, right?
Yes, I'm here.
Shana.
Hey, so you and I met, and I know people watching right now, many people watching probably remember my friend Amy Boyd. She went by Pippi, also named the breast cancer constituent bus after her. So the bus is named Pippi.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but I met Shana during that time when Amy was going through metastatic breast cancer, and Shana was her primary caregiver. And I think this is, an area people, again, don't talk about very much. And it's the reason why I wanted to have you on tonight. And again, thanks for being here. On short notice, we had someone else coming on that had to cancel. That happens sometimes because we've talked to a lot of people who are in treatment. But
Absolutely.
one of the things I was curious about, like when it got kind of later there towards the end, Shana, she started having different types of complications and things like that. Can you talk a little bit about some of the things that she went through and that you had to help her with?
There's a very ugly side that a lot of people are unwilling to see or just don't want to. It's very difficult to watch someone that you love go through this disease. As her cancer progressed and spread, she ended up with whole brain radiation. After that, she had lost the use of her right arm, right hand for a while. She was able to gain some function back, but she never got all of it back. There was a lot she couldn't do.
Was that due to the cancer in her brain? It caused where her brain wasn't able to tell her arm to function?
That's what we think.
Mm-hmm.
It was really hard to pin it down by that point because unfortunately things were deteriorating pretty quickly.
Yeah.
She was determined to fight and, do what she could. She had helped with one of the clinical trials, and that was of a medication that did get approved. So, at the very end, there's a lasting legacy for everyone who does that because you just help find something that might possibly save another. And I know that was something that was very important to her.
She had a lot of things that she did where she was selfless and really thinking about how what she went through could help other people, because I recall that she was very adamant about having her body donated to science after she passed away.
Yes.
And I know that
And we did.
And you were the person who made sure that happened.
Yes. She had asked me to take care of those arrangements and things, and so I was the one who was there and set up hospice and stuff at the end. I feel like a big part of it is just having hope. She was struggling but managing, and then she had a checkup. The doctors told her the last line of therapy wasn't working and she had no options. And she was gone 4 days after that. That was all the time it took.
Wow.
Not to be confused with the toxic positivity. It's not great to just keep it all rainbows and sunshine and, oh, don't worry, you're going to be fine. It's going to be 100% okay.
Right.
That was not helpful to her either. So you have to be able to have a balance of, yes, I will sit and speak with you about your death. It is imminent, unfortunately. And she just desperately needed somebody who could be comfortable with that. And while it was in no way easy for me, what she was going through is way harder than anything that I did to attempt to help her and make it better.
Yeah, that's so true. Like I talk even about people who are just going through breast cancer and they have trouble talking to their family about how they're feeling, even if they're like stage 1, because it affects the family members so much. And so being able to have a friend like you that could have that open and honest conversation without like setting the emotional part of it aside to focus on Amy's needs and what it was that she wanted. I think one of the first broadcasts, Shana, that we had for Mighty Metastatic, I talked about how she bought that book called I'm Sorry for Your Loss, It's Me. And she filled it out. Like she filled it all out as basically just telling whoever was there that
everything.
Yeah, this is where I want my dog to go. This is where I want my money to go. This is where I want my car to go. Like it was kind of like a makeshift will, but there was really more to it than that,
Yes, because it included favorite characteristics about the pets that she had so that those who got them after her could love them as much as she did. It had some humorous bits to the book as well. There's some quotes and things that'll just kind of make you smile, because we all know it's going to happen eventually. No one wants to think about it being today. It's a conversation family members really should be involved in and shouldn't try to put off, because as hard as it is to sit and speak with someone about what they want, how they want to go, her wishes were to be at home. She was adamant that she not be in a hospital, and we made sure she was at home. She was surrounded by friends and family just the way she wanted. That was the best I could do for her.
God bless you for that, Shana. God bless you for that. I'm sitting here fighting back tears and just thinking about everything that you did for her selflessly and beautifully, just exactly the way she wanted it done. And
it's important. I couldn't take the disease away.
That's beautiful.
And there were a lot of people who helped, and that's the thing is, a lot of people don't know what to do, and so they just say, oh, hey, just tell me if you need something. Let me know if you need help. In that case, she wasn't able to say what she needed for help. She needed someone who could come in, see a need, and fill it. And that's kind of where I came in. I looked around and I said, okay, I live 3.5 hours away from you. I'm making these drives. I can't be here all the time like I'd like to. Got to get some help. And so we started enlisting help. I created Facebook pages. I put up a schedule of tasks that needed to be done so that people could sign up to volunteer to come over and take her dog on a walk, you know, love on the cats, clean the house, bring a meal, just whatever it was. And really at the end of the day, the thing that they need most is simply your time. That
Yeah.
is one thing that I wish I had done more of. I wish I had just spent more time just sitting and being with her. I
Yeah.
had a limited time and I tried so hard to do everything I could in such a short time. And what she really needed was my presence. And she got that too, but not as much as she wanted. So that is something I would urge, the family members and friends, is to just be there, be present. Honestly, that's all they need
Well,
is
that's
your
something
time.
we've talked about a few times, Shana, on this podcast, is that going through a breast cancer diagnosis really changes your perspective, and it makes you realize, hey, life is short, and regardless of what the diagnosis is, you need to be doing those things that you want to do, and spending the time with the people that you want to spend the time with. And I remember that I was greatly impacted by the death of my aunt, and when she was in her final days, I realized how important, yeah, like you said, being there was. And for whatever it was, like, I just went up to the hospital and I would show up, and she was always excited because I took it upon myself to massage her feet every time I saw her. And so that was like the thing. And so every time I saw her, I would massage her feet. And so she was always excited, and she had like a breathing tube in, and, just stuff that is really not that time consuming for us, or might not seem like a big deal for the caretaker, is a really, really big deal for someone who's at end of life, like Amy was. Another
really
thing
is.
another thing that I recall, and again, we're talking about a situation that Kim is far from. Kim, I just want to remind you of that. So, and everything, because
Oh, no,
yeah,
I'm
Yeah.
not,
yeah,
taking that any kind of way
good.
because
I'm
it's a
glad.
different situation. And, I've done my own personal research about, because I've had people ask me, so and I'm like, don't ask that, first of all.
Right,
Second
right.
of all, I'm not terminal. I'm treatable, but I'm not terminal, you
That's
know?
right. There's a
And
difference.
so there's a difference. And palliative care has been very helpful, but people think palliative care, uh-oh.
Yeah,
No,
it's
that's
not
to help you.
hospice. It's not the
That's
same
not
thing.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not the
So
same
kind of
thing.
like, but yeah,
Yeah.
no, I'm totally not what do you call it, rattled
I'm
by
glad.
that.
Yeah, yeah,
Because I've come to understand, what my situation and
yeah.
what it means. And
Totally.
that's part of it. If you're going through this, you definitely want to understand and know, where am I? What does this mean?
Yep, yep.
Hey, April, I
Yo,
have something, and I don't know if it's okay to share this, but I actually got it today. This was perfect. I think this was meant to be, because
tell us,
things
man.
happen on accident.
Yeah.
So there's a guide. I went to go get my infusion for my chemotherapy, which didn't happen because my numbers are too low. My white blood cell count is too low.
Grr, chemo. But yay, chemo. All the same.
Yeah, I know, right? I was like,
Grr and
oh
yay.
darn. Wah, wah.
Right.
That's why I'm at home and not with you in the studio, because I'm neutropenic and prone to infection. But there was a cancer caregiving guide. It says cancer caregiving A to Z. Can I show it?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Let me see.
There you go. Oh, that's cool. That's American Cancer Society. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And how did you get this?
So when I when I went for my oncology appointment, the infusion room where everybody gets their treatment, they have a basket and people can donate stuff. And it's pretty cool. Like I've had people, I've seen people donate the port pillows, so when you're riding in a car, the seatbelt doesn't rub against your port and it gets sore.
Right. Yeah.
People do armbands. I
Hmm.
put, different things in there too. And so as I was walking by, I just happened to see that there was something different in there, and I picked it up. And I thought, that's interesting. And so when we were talking about what our topics would be for tonight and what we'd be discussing, I went, this is perfect.
That's so cool. That is so cool. I would love to see that book sometime and thumb through it, or just buy myself a copy or pick up one online somehow. That looks like a really great book. American Cancer Society was super helpful to me personally when I went through breast cancer. That's where I got a lot of the details that were, not immediately available to me. Being able to learn a lot of details through American Cancer Society was really helpful. Another thing I was thinking about, Shana, with Amy, that I wanted to bring up with caregiving is, my dad's going through stage 4 prostate cancer, so I feel like I'm kind of, living some of the stuff. It's that ability to respect whatever that person's wishes are in the moment. They might not seem sensible to you at the time, but those folks who are going through metastatic cancer, especially if they're far along, I feel like with Amy, I feel like she didn't have as much control as she was used to because she wasn't able to be as independent. So there were some things that she wanted done on a daily basis that we were all happy to do. And I think some people might look at those things and be like, well, you don't need to feed the squirrels, or you don't need to, whatever it was. There were different things that were
corn for the squirrels. That was one of them.
Exactly. Yeah. And like, you're dying over here, it's like, why are we feeding squirrels? But that's what she wanted. She wanted the things that were her daily routine, and the things that were important to her. She wanted to feel like they would still continue. And I mean, I don't think there was a single one of us who helped Amy that didn't just do all those things with a smile. There was lots of things that she wanted done, and anything she wanted done, I was just like, just tell me what it is. I mean, anything to make that person happy and more comfortable in any way possible is so important during those days.
She had a particular way of doing things. I created to-do lists and how-to guides for all sorts of things so that when people would come in to help, they had a better chance of doing it to her standards.
Yep.
Because she was a Virgo, just like I am. My birthday's the 11th, hers was the 15th of September. And so, I understood it and why she had those little things that she did. And so we did the best to honor her wishes to the best of our ability, and those little things just helped her feel normal.
Yeah, and at ease,
Yeah, and her and the squirrels, at least, we had put up a second feeder, and so she could see those squirrels. It was one of the little picnic table ones, and you could put the corn cobs on
I remember that. Yep.
And she could see that from her bed. So there at the end, when she was stuck in bed and all she could really do was look out her window, she got to at least see the birds and the squirrels that came, and it gave, the animals something to interact with, her pets, and, even those little things serve their purpose. And it's important, the way I saw it, she was already having the hardest time possible, so if me doing some insignificant thing made her feel better, then I'm all for it. That's fine. You know what? The laundry will be here next week when I come.
Yep, exactly.
Want me to go get art supplies? Let's do some crafting, lady. Tell me what
you want, whatever it is. Yeah. No, I think it's so important. And, again, I think maybe some people, who are caregivers may not recognize that that person is at that stage, or maybe be too, I was going to say emotionally invested. We're all emotionally invested, but unable to kind of separate, hey, this is about that person right now. I can grieve later. You know what I mean? Like making those last days as best as good as possible are great. What other types of things can you think of, Shana, that happened with Amy that you think would be helpful to share with folks out there who might be caregivers for metastatic breast cancer warriors out there?
I would say just be very careful about judgments. I know that there were some times where when Amy would feel good enough to, maybe go to the park or go skating, or she'd, go do something for herself. And then, the next day she'd be asking for help with, the dishes or the yard or whatever. there were some that made unkind comments about, oh, well, if you felt good enough for skating, surely you feel good enough for dishes. And I did not like that because, someone who's living with a chronic illness of any sort, but particularly cancer, especially metastatic, um, if they're having a good day, man, just let them do what makes them happy. Support them, smile, and just wash those dishes, do that laundry, sweep that floor. Because in a little while, you are going to miss all those crazy little things that you just hated having to do, like cleaning cricket cages for me. I hated cleaning the cricket cages
Yeah,
for her.
same.
I loved the lizards, but I loved her
Yeah.
enough that I overcame my fears and I
Uh,
learned to clean cricket cages. Not on my bingo card.
right. I
But
remember
you do
learning the
it,
whole thing with the crickets and the little
Oh my
how
gosh.
you put them in there, how you get them out, all that stuff was so. I was like, wow,
It
there's a lot of
matters.
stuff. Yeah, it does. It matters. It totally matters, man. It does. I think
I've
that's
learned the hard
all
way.
really important. Kind of like, Kim, I know with you, not long ago, you played a gig with Shake Me. And I'm sure at home, you're not traipsing around doing dishes and running up and down the stairs with laundry, but you played that gig, and of course it knocked you on your butt the next day, but it was worth it, and we were all so happy to see you do that.
Thank you. And you know what? Thanks for being there to help me off stage because you saw it drained me to a point where I was like, y'all come get me. I don't think I'm gonna make it.
Picked up all nine.
I was like, man, I played my little heart out on those 4 songs, but dang,
Yeah,
like, wow,
totally.
it's funny because you have those days, and I know we've talked about this before, but you have those flare days where you're just done. Your body says nope, you're not getting out of bed unless you got to go to the bathroom, and you might need some help doing that. But then there's days where, you know, hey, I want to get out and get some sun. I want to, go to the craft store, or hey, let's, hop on a plane and let's go to San Diego, or let's do this, or let's do that. But then, once you've been in the cycle long enough, you know what that cycle is going to look like when your flare is most likely to hit right after chemo, how many days it's going to be, and depending on, oh, you're neutropenic, you're going to feel even worse, and so it's like you're not tired, you're fatigued. And those are two totally different things. So there's been times when I've been able to, go downstairs and say, okay, because my husband's my caregiver and he works full time from home, and I'll, oh, I want to do a load of laundry. Oh, I'll do the dishes, just to feel normal. And then sometimes I'm okay. Sometimes right after that one task, it's like, oh God, okay, okay, let's go sit down before we fall down, and we don't want to be falling. It's let me rest, and that might do me in for the rest of the day. It might not. I might be able to do one other thing, but it feels good not only for the caregiver to see the person that they're caring for doing things that make them feel normal, but also the person going through it, makes them feel more normal. And it's not you're being lazy or anything like that. It's, hey, your body is trying to recover. So it is fatigued. So when when your body's receiving these treatments, it's wearing it out. So it's kind of nice to be able to do those things, but then not have the judgment, like Shana said, of, oh, okay, so yesterday you were doing this, and now today you're telling me that you can't do anything. So what happened? Well, let me tell you what happened.
Right.
I got the chemo bomb dropped in my body, and the
Right.
body just went, ah. That's what happened. And it's
As a
trying to
caregiver,
recover.
one of the hardest parts for me was to allow her to struggle because she was very independent. She wanted to do as much as she could for as long as she could. And I understand why she was doing it, but I wanted to make it easier. I wanted to make it better for her. But just taking the thing and opening whatever she can't get open or whatnot, that's not helpful. You have to wait until your help is requested. Obviously, I wasn't going to let her do anything that was big and going to hurt her or injure her, but I had to learn to be able to sit with it and be okay with the fact that I'm going to watch her struggle for 3 minutes trying to open a straw wrapper before she gets angry and says, "Fine, can you do this for me?" You
Hey,
know,
Shana, I have a curiosity question.
Mm,
Um, as a person going through this, I know that sometimes I can get snippy. How were you able to deal? Because you have to have a thick skin, right? And how were you able to deal with that?
so you definitely have to find something that works. Um, Most of the time, I would just uh, find a reason I needed to do something in a different area for a little while. And I would just take myself away for 10 or 15 minutes, remind myself that, she is going through something that is so hard that I cannot imagine it. And, that it's not really her. She's not mad at me. She is mad because she can't open a bottle of water anymore. She's mad because she can't hold a hairbrush. She's mad because whatever thing it was that day, it was a million tiny things. You know, um, there was only once that I got really angry and I yelled back at her because there had just kind of been a buildup. I had a lot going on in my own life as well. And, I had yelled at her, "I don't know why you're yelling at me. I'm the one who always shows up." And I stormed off and I sat outside for 10 minutes, took Brownie to the backyard, and then I came back and I said, "Hey, I'm sorry." And she cried, she apologized, and she said, "I don't know why I get like this. I'm so tired. Everything hurts. You know, please don't leave." And I was like, "Girl, I'm not leaving. I'm too stubborn for that." But it is not something that everyone could handle. There were those who could not handle the angry side of it. I think I had a little better chance at being understanding of that because I also suffer from chronic pain. I have back issues that I've had for a little over 20 years now. So I understand how the hurt can sometimes hijack a personality. Um,
Thank you for
Others
sharing
will
that.
perceive me
Yeah,
as bad.
that's so important because as the person going through it, sometimes you snap before you even realize it. And the person, it's all, the people you love the most are the ones you hurt the most sometimes. And, you know, it's after the fact that you realize, ooh, that was probably a little harsh, but you're not mad at your caregiver. It's things like scanxiety that you're afraid, or you're upset because you might be having a bad day because you're thinking, why did this happen to me and why am I going through this? Really?
Exactly.
And then it affects your attitude. And sometimes, we take it out on the caregiver. They're, the closest thing. And you just kind of flare up and they're like, really? How about we just let you go hungry for a little bit? No, I'm just kidding. My husband does not let me go hungry. I don't. I'm joking. I'm joking.
She's got the best husband ever. I mean, it's like we talked
But
about Kim. I was like, going through something like that is a make or break of a marriage, and it's certainly just showing the strength of your marriage, the two of you guys. It's very inspirational.
Definitely, definitely. And he just, he takes it and just keeps. And I'll say, "I'm sorry, honey." And he was like, He'll say, "It's okay." And I'm like, "No, it's really not." He goes, "No, it's okay." And and having to see that from his perspective, you know, and having to see it from my perspective, and like kind of switching things. And it's like, wow, wow, that was eye opening. Or, oh my God, I can't believe I just said that, and it's tough. And that's why I asked Shane about, the tough skin, because you got to have a tough skin to be a caregiver for someone who's going through something like this or similar to this.
I
Yeah,
agree.
this is really really good for me to hear right now. I've mentioned it a couple times that my dad is going through stage 4 prostate cancer, and one of the things that I notice in Shana, you brought it up a little, was that, planning as a caregiver, planning in advance of any issues that might come up is so important. Like Dad's been in and out of the hospital a lot. So, and I'm not to the level of caregiving that you were, Shana, but I mean, Dad's still independent and whatnot, but
That's good. I'm glad.
but he's been in and out of the hospital quite a lot, and I don't want him going to the hospital alone. And I'm very adamant about getting the conversations detailed when he talks to doctors so we can understand what's going on, because there's so much stuff happening. He's got like 5 different doctors. So, when I knew I wasn't going to be available this last weekend, I was like, Dad, who can you work with if you need to go to the hospital? And because it's not, he hasn't been in emergency situations, but he has needed to go to the hospital and get things resolved, that he couldn't wait to the next week. And
it's a good idea to set up the plan, set up your backups like I did. If I thought that there was a possibility I might not make something, it was, hey, who else could take on this piece of my responsibility? No one could do everything I did, but you know what? There were like 12 of them that managed to do what I did. So it was okay.
I know I did probably like maybe 1/12 of that. Yeah, myself.
Oh,
But
you helped more than you realized just by keeping us fed, by keeping me fed.
well, that was no problem, man, at all. But yeah, like to your point, just like having a plan in advance. So, and Dad was like, "Well, I'm fine," blah blah, and I was like, "Well, you said you were fine the other 4 times before we had to take you to the hospital. You just don't know, so we need to have a plan." And my brother wasn't going to be available, and he was like, "Oh, I've got all these people." I was like, "Yeah." You're saying you have all these people, but are they actually available? Like, you need to make sure that they're available this weekend in case something comes up, and that they know, hey, you're the first line of defense this weekend or something like that. And so I think that kind of planning is super important, regardless of what stage you're in with metastatic breast cancer. I know I tell Kim all the time, I'm like, do you guys want me to come up there or whatever? And
Yes, I was
know.
just gonna say that. April, it's like April's been, you've been a wonderful advocate and a wonderful survivor sister, and I just love you. And you've always said, hey, do you need me to come get you? Do you need me to come sit with you? Do you need me? What do you need? And I'm like, wow, and David's like, oh, I feel bad asking. I'm like, we didn't ask. She offered.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And then there's, I know that you probably have plenty of people or whatever, but I just always think that's so important. I mean, what if, I don't know, David broke his leg or something, and he couldn't like drive or whatever. Like, you got to have a plan, and, just know,
yeah, like he had emergency, an emergency appendectomy, and it was like,
oh crap.
Oh my gosh, and he got COVID, and it was like, oh, I got to move to another end of the house, and how am I going to go to treatment now? Oh my God, what are we going to do? And you were like Johnny on the spot, April on the spot. It was like, hey, you need me to come get you? You need me to, whatever you need, Kim, let me know. And I'm like, wow. I mean, I think you and I had a conversation at like 2:00 in the morning one time.
Probably.
I was freaking out. And you talked me down off the ledge, and it's like, wow.
It's a two-way street. It's not only should the caregiver plan ahead, but the person who's being cared for should be honest and transparent about what it is they need. It's important to me as your friend, and I know your family feels the same way, is that you do let us know where when we can help, and that we also recognize that it needs to be your decision, just like Shana was saying earlier with Amy, like trying to open something. It needs to be her decision if she wants help. We just need to be there and say, okay, we're here to help when you need it, and you need to take advantage of it when you do.
I'm going to tell you, that's hard. It can be hard because you feel like you're losing your independence, and that's difficult, especially if you are, an independent overachiever. You're
She
used
was
to
very
jumping
much
in
that.
there, and I just, I'm used to running Mach 5 with my hair on fire, overachiever, just thinking about everybody else. and now to be in a situation where, you know, you need to rely on help, you're not, and you're not used to asking for help, you want to do everything yourself, but you can't anymore. That is highly frustrating and something that you have to learn how to deal with. It's taken me a year to learn that, and to say it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to accept help. It doesn't mean that you're weak. It doesn't mean that you suck. It means that you're going through something.
Yeah, and it's good to
You're human.
recognize when you need to take care of yourself. You know, like, you know, just like tonight, you're like, hey, I can't come in the studio. You know, because of my white blood cell count, and you know to take care of yourself. That's important. Like, people, you know, don't think like that a lot of the times, and you have to take care of yourself.
Exactly. And you know, and I'm going to say, April did not force me to say this, nor did she force me to be here. This is important to me. You know, I'm used to helping other people, and I believe that's why I'm still here. And it was important to me to show up tonight, even though I don't feel 100% great, because I don't. I'm very fatigued right now. But you know what? I got excited. The adrenaline kicked in once I popped on, and I thought, okay, here we are, you know, helping other people that, you know, need to information, or, you know, need to be encouraged by other people that are going through it. You know, this is the real deal. I wanted to show you the real deal. Yes, I put on makeup because I didn't want to scare people, but
Whatever, whatever,
You're
dude.
lucky I put on makeup. I'd have been the scary one, trust me.
Whatever, y'all.
you
I'm
know, but it's
serious.
like this is realness here. You know, this is not, you know, fakery. This is the real deal. I'm telling you right now. Do I feel 100%? No, I don't. But I wanted to be here. And
It's
that's why I'm
important to
here. It's
do what you
important.
find joy in.
Yes.
It
That's
doesn't matter how small that thing is. If it makes you happy, you need to do it. And that's on both sides, you know, and there's little ways to work that in for both. Like, Amy knew that I was always overworked. I'm a mother of 3 children. And so, you know, well, that in itself is a full-time job. And so when I would come up with her, you know, in the days before she got sick, she used to always take me out, and she'd take me to get me a pedicure, take me to get my nails done, you know, something that she knew that I don't ever have time for. And so after she got sick, we just started making it our thing. So that would be our chemo aftercare routine. We would come home, I would get her something to eat. Not that she really ate much. I'd let her take a nap and stuff while she slept. I would run around, bust out as many chores as I could so that when she woke up, I could sit with her. And we would do face masks. We'd do the little hand and foot masks. You know, we'd put on something we wanted to watch, and we would just veg, but we would do it together. And even the little things like that, it doesn't have to be big, it doesn't have to be grand, but just that small something that you can still enjoy, meet them where they're at, wherever that is on whatever day, because you never know how it's going to be. And you never know what day is going to be the last one. It's important to make those moments count, make them memories. That's what matters.
Yep.
And take the
Amen.
pictures.
Oh my gosh,
For the
take
love of
tons of
all,
pictures. Yeah.
yes.
I did not. I did not take the pictures. She was the photographer, and I'm realizing how few pictures I have, and I'm so grateful for the ones she took. So that is something I am trying to do more of now. Just take the pictures. It doesn't matter what you think. They're not for you. They're for the people who love you and are going to appreciate them later on. You know?
I want to give a shout out to the folks who are watching right now. If you're just joining and you're like, what the hell's going on here? Just briefly, I'm April Samuels, founder of Breast Cancer Can Stick It. I'm 15 years cancer free. We've got Kim Lusk. If Kim, you say hello real quick.
Hi, I'm Kim Lusk, also known as the Goddess of Thunder. I'm a metastatic cancer warrior, stage 4, and you know, living and thriving.
Yes, yes. And then we have Shana on tonight, who was the caregiver for Amy Pippi Boyd, a good friend of mine, and just inspiration and somebody I really wanted to talk to about this stuff. I want to give a shout out to folks who are watching right now. I see that Catherine Lusk is here in the house, and I have to read this because Kim's husband responded a little bit to my comment earlier and about when Kim said that he wasn't feeding her as a joke. He says, yes, husband here, and thanks for the kind words, everyone. And no, I do not treat her like Betty Davis treats Joan Crawford and whatever happened to Baby Jane. If you haven't seen that, dude, it is the creepiest movie ever. I don't know if you do this, Kim. I was in a band
Oh,
called...
it's one of my favorites.
I was in a band called Baby Jane Hudson that was named after that. Yeah, seriously.
No way!
I'll have to
That's one
send
of my
you some
favorite
stuff.
movies.
That's such a crazy movie. It looks like we got somebody here named Charisse Mancino is in the house. Hello, Charisse. Thanks for being here. Mandy Jackson. What's up? What's up? Mandy Jackson is here, and James is in the house. What's up? What's up? Thanks for being here tonight, guys. Well, I know we only have about 8 minutes left. If anybody wants to kind of wrap up their thoughts on, caregiving for metastatic breast cancer, friend, patient, I'd love to hear some final thoughts from each of you.
Shana, I'll let you go.
I wasn't prepared for a closing statement.
Sorry.
Threw it right under the bus. Woo!
Oh, man.
There you go,
That's
man.
okay. All you can do is all you can do, and all you can do is enough. That's not mine. That's a quote from someone from way forever ago, but somebody told me that when I was feeling like a failure as a mother, and it has been some of the most true advice ever. All you can do is all you can do, and all you can do is enough.
Wow. I love that. I
That's
love
good.
that.
Yeah,
I'm
that is
going to
some
have
good
to write
stuff.
that down.
Yeah, we'll have to steal that from you. Somebody else said it, so we can't steal
Absolutely.
it.
Yeah, I know, right? I was like,
Not mine.
That's good, though.
I'll show this book one more time.
Yeah.
That would have been so helpful.
I got this today. Coincidence. But definitely wanted to give a special shout out to my husband David for being such an amazing caregiver. Just patience as the day is long. I don't know how he puts up with me. I don't know how he put up with me before cancer, but now that I have cancer, it's like it's been an amazing journey for the both of us, and we definitely look at life differently now. But from a caregiver perspective, when my mom comes up, she's available and she, helps, and she's a survivor too. And so she gets it. And so, it's just been wonderful feeling the love and the offer of support, like from you, April, just amazing. I have had other friends that have said, hey, Kim, what can I do? What do you need? Not, hey, call me if you need anything. It's, the ones that ask, what can I do? What do you need? Can I come pray with you? Can I take you somewhere? Do you need food? Just, the outpouring of love, but the caregiver piece is so important. And, just can't thank David enough, as my soulmate, my husband, and my best friend, and I just wanted to show some appreciation for that, because I know it's hard sometimes. I'm not the easiest person to deal with, and I don't think anybody that is going through this journey it's not easy for us at all. And so having a caregiver like, Shana was, and for her friend, and David is for me, and April, I know you had some great caregivers too, that really makes a difference. And I think really, impacts, the way the person feels. I know it does, because I can testify to that.
Amen to that, man. That's awesome. Yeah, thank you guys both. And again, anybody joining who's new to the broadcast of this show here, I just want to let you guys know that this is a show that's hosted by myself, April Samuels, and Kim Lusk, the Goddess of Thunder, who is a metastatic breast cancer warrior in the house. She co-hosts this with me each month. It's the first Tuesday of every month, so be sure to always tune in for this show. We always have really great topics to talk about, and just kind of spreading the word about what metastatic breast cancer is and some of the details that just don't get talked about enough. So please continue to join in. And I want to give a big shout out of thanks to Shana for being on this show. Again, she came in short notice us and everything and slayed dragons. She'd been on the Beat broadcast a long time ago, but we kind of had a different spin today, more conversational. Last time was more like an interview, but so grateful to have her on. That's so cool. She just threw a bunch of hearts up and it went all over the place. That was so cool. That was awesome, man. So yeah, Shana, thank you so much for being here on short notice. It's totally great to catch up with you. And you were talking earlier. We were talking about the book that Amy had called I'm Sorry for Your Loss, It's Me. And one of the things she had in there was about her dog Brownie, and Shana took over the care for Brownie. And whenever Brownie needs anything, and a lot of us will pull together to help if needed. And it doesn't stop. We still love Amy, and we still want to do the things that Amy wanted. You know what I mean?
I could not believe how many people helped. I felt horrible.
No.
I adopted her dog Brownie and Jack, and Brownie needed to have a surgery, and so I had to go to Facebook to help. So I popped into the Pippi's Army group and said, "Hey, y'all know Amy's going to kick my butt from the other side if I don't take care of this puppy dog.
That's right.
Help?"
No, I see. That's the thing is you have to know, like, just like we've been talking about, everybody needs to chip in and everybody needs to help when they can. And even though it was about the dog, it's still carrying on something for Amy, something that she wanted, and that respect that we have for the things that Amy wanted. And so we're also glad, Shana, that you got Brownie, and that Brownie is getting big love like she deserves.
So spoiled.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very cool. All right. Again, guys, everybody join us here for Mighty Metastatic the first Tuesday of each month at 7 p.m. Central Time. And we will have our next topic coming out soon. And our next guest will be announced here soon as well. Again, thank you to Shana for being on the show tonight, and to my co-host, the Goddess of Thunder, Kim Lusk. Man, I hope you guys have a wonderful evening and have a good night. We'll see you next time.
You do the same, April. Good night, everyone.
Take care, guys. Bye.
Thanks for having me.
Bye. Mighty Metastatic is produced by Izzy Simonian and hosted by April Samuels and Kim Lusk. Brought to you by Breast Cancer Can Stick It, an official 501c3 nonprofit raising funds for mammograms, research and trials, and for financial assistance for breast cancer treatment. For more information, visit breastcancercanstickit.org.